Well, it's not every evening that Ram Jethmalani and Subramnian Swamy are on the opposite sides, but they are tonight, and Aryama Sundaram joins them. Mr. Jethmalani, you are related at this judgment, but consider this. 3 petitioners accused of playing a part in the assassination of our former Prime Minister. They are associated with a terrorist group, the LTT. The group recruits child soldiers. They use civilians as human shields. They kill civilians using suicide attacks. Now, whatever your legal argument may be, isn't it also apparent to you, Mr. Jethmalani, that your legal argument lacks a logical basis? If you look at, the larger issues involved which go beyond legal technicalities, Mr. Jethmalani.
I'm sorry, Arnab, that as usual, I disagree with you on some very important subjects. And that, of course, doesn't affect our friendship and affection. But please understand what the basis of the judgment is. The basis of the judgment is a decision delivered nearly 20 years ago by one of the greatest judges who has sat on the Supreme Court bench, Mr. Justice Chinnappa Reddy. And he delivered a judgment in which he ruled that if the whole judicial process, including the final appeal in the Supreme Court, is not disposed of within 2 years of the date of the offence, then there should be no death sentence awarded.
But why was it not disposed of? Why don't you ask that question? Why was it not disposed of? You were Law Minister of India.
I must tell you,
during the NDA government. Why was it not disposed of then?
For God's sake.
Purely political reasons, Mr.
Judgment. Please understand the reasoning of the judgment, and please let me tell you that Chinnappa's judgment in the Indian Supreme Court has been accepted as good law by Privy Council judgments in 2 cases drawn not from India but from other countries in the Commonwealth. The Privy Council has appreciated Chinnappa Reddy's judgment, and the reasoning of the judgment is that if the sentence of death is to be given for the rarest of rare cases, and the normal sentence of murder is a sentence of life imprisonment, then all serious circumstances associated with the crime mean sentence of death at the time of the disposal of the judicial process.
Mr. Jethmalani, all that is...
Please understand now what I am telling you, because I have not told you unless you try and understand what the judgment is about. You are not, please understand something. There are certain, I know that you are all knowing almost, but there are certain things which you don't know, which you should know. The argument is very simple, that every day that you keep a person who has been sentenced to death, suffering that agony, that itself is extra punishment than the sentence of death awarded to him. And if you keep a man in that state of anxiety and almost tyrannical,
sir, these are all politically sensitive cases.
For 16 years.
Only for politics.
And I'm sorry to tell you that the facts are wrong.
Only for politics.
The facts are that 16 years they have kept these people's mercy petitions pending.
Yes, but why was it kept pending? Why are these not all cases which are
it was kept pending because you have a dishonest executive. They don't know their job. They are either incompetent or dishonest.
No, they are not dishonest. They are using these cases for political capital. You are someone who are not in favor of the death penalty.
That makes it dishonest.
This is purely...
Why don't you call it dishonest?
So then I may argue with you, Mr. Jethmalani, with great respect.
Anyway, I know that basically you and I always agree.
Mr. Jethmalani, you are a wizard of the law and I am not. I, however, can completely disagree with you, not on legal issues, on basic fact. I don't understand why a person of the eminence of Ram Jethmalani, tonight Subramnian Swamy, let me draw into the debate. I don't understand why a person of the legal wizardry, eminence and erudition of Ram Jethmalani pretends to be blind to the fact that these are all cases which are politicized. You have Karunanidhi asking for the release of these convicts of the Supreme Court verdict. In the Devinder Pal Bhullar case and the Balwant Singh Rajwana in Punjab, the Shiromani Akali Dal politicized those cases. Subramanian Swamy now. Now, one minute. Subramnian Swamy will respond. He feels what happened today is wrong, Mr. Jethmalani. Let him respond to you. Mr. Swamy.
First of all, Mr. Jethmalani has quoted what is essentially an outdated judgment.
Okay.
Because there are subsequent judgments. Like the Swami Shraddhanand case and several others, where they made it very clear that there is no hard and fast rule for the number of years.
Yes.
That has to be taken into account, and the 2 years was rejected in subsequent judgments. So I don't want to go too much into this technicality or whether it's 2 years or several years. But generally speaking, the core of the judgments subsequently say that if there has been delay caused by the government, then that's a factor. Now, for 5 years, Mr. Jethmalani himself was law minister and a minister in the Indian government, and he failed to do anything at that time.
He didn't do anything.
He had sympathy with them, I don't know. But the fact is that the present Prime Minister several times said that we have zero tolerance for terrorism. Now, these people, to say that there's agony, they are hard-boiled criminals. They are hard-boiled killers. And in the Supreme Court, they celebrated. They said we wanted to teach Rajiv Gandhi a lesson for sending IPKF to Sri Lanka. So how can you, in fact, they got extra 16 years for nothing. And those who are responsible for the delay, we can take them separately. But there cannot be any sympathy for these three killers for doing that. Now, the problem has been compounded for the Congress and the Attorney General of India, who has been arguing with one hand tied behind his back, because Ms. Sonia Gandhi has written a letter to the President that these people should not be hanged. Now, people should ask her a question. Why did you write this letter? And that nobody has so far done it. Now, that's the one that has tied the Congress party hand and foot.
No, that would not influence the court, Subramnian Swamy. Be careful of what you say. That would not influence the court.
Please don't. Now, please let me tell you, the courts will go by the arguments adduced. I can tell you the Attorney General argued in a in a way which any court would have come to the conclusion that he is in favor of amnesty.
Aryama Sundaram, do you think Ram Jethmalani should explain why he took no action with the time that he was law minister in the Vajpayee cabinet? Before he argues that why was there a delay, should he explain why he was part of the delay?
Arnab, for anybody to take on Ram and ask him a question like that calls for a lot of bravery. Since I am quite at a distance from him, let me say, I think he, in his political hat, like every other politician wearing that political hat, and everybody concerned with dealing with mercy petitions and delaying it, are causing an affront on the fundamental right of the person who requires a quick decision on it and who's suffering from the threat of death day to day. They owe it to him, they owe it to the country which is waiting to, when a person has been convicted, to see the sentence implemented. They owe it to the rule of law, and they owe it to the courts. Now, whether we like it or not, in the past 15 years, there's been a habit that every mercy petition, you're talking about these terrorist issues, I'm talking about rapists, I'm talking about murderers. But every single mercy petition is slept on for 10 years.
But why?
Now, why is it
why?
slept
Because
on?
of politics.
Why? Exactly. Is it because the government doesn't want to be left with the last say? They'd rather blame the man's life or death on the court and say the court killed him. I don't want to have any role in the death of a person. But the fact is, today's judgment is nothing but a necessary consequence which had to follow because of the law laid down by the Supreme Court in their judgment of about 6 weeks ago.
No, Mr. Sundaram, I worry.
Judgment has led to today.
No, I worry. I really worry that it sets a dangerous precedent. And first of all, I think
the judgment is not a dangerous precedent.
Of course, it sets a dangerous precedent.
Arnab, let me just say this. Since
it sets a very dangerous precedent.
Let me make my position very clear. I think the judgment is a great precedent. The judgment lays down what the law is, it respects the fundamental rights, it respects rule of law, it respects the constitution. The judgment is a great precedent. What is the bad precedent is the way the government deals in a lackadaisical manner with a mercy petition, where a man's life, it's a question of a man's life or death. It is there for 10 years, they don't even bother to look at it. They wait 8 months,
but
in one case 2 years,
they will
to get
do
a
it
translation
again.
Of the judgment.
But they will do it again. They will, unfortunately, the politicians in our country.
The consequence will be that the man will go free.
Yeah,
not
of course.
go free, but will be
of course. And
life imprisonment.
Yes,
here,
Mr. Swamy.
May I add here, when it came to Dhananjay Chatterjee, there was a big delay, but it was over. It was not considered at all, and he was hanged. And all that he asked
was a wrong judgment. That was a wrong judgment, and it was a wrong judgment.
I am saying that this delay was due to the fact that Ms. Sonia Gandhi wrote a letter to the president.
You have that letter? You have the letter? It's a figment of your imagination.
I know. Let them deny it and I'll produce the letter. We have
No, where is the letter? You have the letter. What do you mean you will produce the letter?
No.
You are telling me that...
Naturally, I can't betray confidence unless someone denies such a letter.
Whose confidence? Who gave you the letter? Where's the letter? Show me the letter.
Whoever gave me the letter gave it to me on the condition that I would not release it.
And you will not release it. So you hold back the truth.
I will only release it if it is denied.
Well, okay. Now, Mr. Jethmalani, I think there's some serious questions which have been raised here by these two gentlemen, and you must answer. There are basically two questions.
No,
Mr. Jethmalani.
I'm quite ready to answer all the questions.
No, you
but
first
just
answer.
Hold on for a while.
First of all,
the law minister does not deal with these problems. These problems go to the home minister. And I don't believe that this matter ever came up either before the law ministry or even the home ministry.
You're telling me you were not aware of it when you were law minister? Of all the law ministers in the country, you were not aware of it?
I was not aware at all.
Oh, I can't believe it.
I was not. I deal with matters and giving legal opinions on disputed questions of law and fact which come to me, which are referred to me.
No, Mr. Jethmalani.
The law minister has nothing to do with this. It is the home minister who does it.
Subramnian Swamy, you accept that? You accept that? He puts the blame on Mr. L.K. Advani.
No, that is a collective responsibility. Therefore, when it went to
Mr. Barnala,
it was a cabinet decision.
All right, I failed in my collective responsibility. If it helps my friend Swamy to make any argument, please. Okay.
No, the second question is that...
you have accepted.
Good. Second question is that of precedent, and I think we must spend some time on it. Now Mr. Jethmalani... No, Mr. Jethmalani, let me please articulate my question. I rarely get the opportunity to ask you questions on Newshour. So when I'm getting the opportunity and I have you sandwiched between Subramnian Swamy and Aryama Sundaram, let me use the opportunity to the maximum.
I don't feel sandwiched between Subramnian Swamy and anybody else. Please understand that. So Subramnian Swamy, I understand what he is saying, and I'm appreciative of all that he says.
No.
But he has not appreciated one argument, that the sentence of death is fixed for the rarest of rare cases of the highest gravity. Otherwise, the sentence is life imprisonment.
Sir, there are two questions.
Don't therefore, in dealing with mercy petitions, deal with the facts of the case at all. The death sentence is justified only for the rarest of rare cases. Now you are inflicting
this is not rarest of rare.
Death plus
the assassination of a Prime Minister of India is not rarest of rare?
Which is inconsistent with Article 21 of the Constitution, because it is additional punishment not justified by the law.
What additional?
Please read what Justice Qadri said when he gave the death sentence. He says, I have considered it all and I have come to the conclusion the rarest of rare cases.
But all right, so that's all right. Now that for that the death sentence was justified. But after that, it is death plus the torture of a delayed petition.
The torture inflicted by your government,
which is not
the torture inflicted by your government and other governments for political reasons.
Inflicted by an incompetent executive.
What about those
16 years?
What about those 18 policemen who died, leaving behind children?
Arnab, it is inarguable. It is inarguable, according to me, in law and in fact, and even on any principle of equity and justice, that you should not only subject a person to the sentence of death, but then give him additional torture every day for the next 15 years.
Jethmalani, with respect to you again.
And I want to know why was this debate not raised at the time when the Supreme Court delivered its judgment nearly 6 weeks ago, and it led to the death penalty being reviewed and substituted and remitted for
now, Mr. Jethmalani,
for 15 other persons.
Yes, Mr. Jethmalani, I remember that, and I remember. No, I remember. I was there.
Why is it being raised just because this happens to be Mr. Rajiv Gandhi?
No, Mr. Jethmalani. No, that's not the point.
Why have you not raised it before?
I am raising it now.
Why did you not?
So I am raising it now.
Why did you not object to the Supreme Court judgment when it was delivered?
I'm asking you.
You know that I had to argue.
I am asking you, Mr. Jethmalani.
Please listen.
Mr. Jethmalani, listen to me for one question.
Listen. I am sorry. First listen. What I want you to listen to is that I had only to tell the Supreme Court that 6 weeks ago you have delivered this judgment. It's a 3-judge bench judgment. It is binding on everybody until that judgment is reviewed.
Please.
Under that judgment, all that I have to tell you is that under the previous judgment, about 15 persons' sentences of death were substituted by life imprisonment. The facts of this case are more telling.
I am talking. No, Mr. Jethmalani. I am talking about the assassination of a Prime Minister of India. I'm talking of an extraordinary situation.
So what?
And what do you mean, so what?
The law can't.
Tomorrow.
Sorry, the law
tomorrow.
Can't make any
Mr. Jethmalani.
And the death of an ordinary individual.
Mr. Jethmalani, that's fine.
I don't allow this kind of an argument to take place.
Well, Mr. Jethmalani, allow me with your permission. With your permission, you have spoken in favor of commuting.
Of the highest order.
You have allowed me.
That is why I say that you did not
Mr.
object to
Jethmalani.
the main judgment which was delivered 6 weeks ago.
Mr. Jethmalani.
But you are now objecting to the judgment because Mr. Rajiv Gandhi is involved. Because everybody has got.
Now, Mr. Jethmalani, what you are doing is that with your aggression, like a road roller, you are running over my questions, but I will not allow you to squish them in any case. My question to you is, take a question, Mr. Jethmalani. Take a question, Mr. Jethmalani. Take a question.
Following the technology which you adopt usually.
Take a question, Mr. J. Who am I to ask anything inappropriate to you? Yeah. You have spoken, and this is an important point, and let the others come in. You see, you have spoken in favor of commuting the death sentence to Devinder Pal Singh Bhullar.
I am prepared to hear everybody.
His execution, Devinder Pal Singh Bhullar, his execution was stayed by the Supreme Court on January 31st. Then there is Balwant Singh Rajwana, sentenced to death in the case of the assassination of former Punjab Chief Minister Beyan Singh. Now, my question is, all these cases by arguing for the commutation of death sentences for alleged murderers and assassins, what is the precedent you are setting? You are setting a precedent where tomorrow, anyone who is a potential assassin, who knows that I can be protected, I can be protected by a politically vocal constituency. So I will carry out an assassination, then get a politically vocal constituency to make this a political issue, put pressure to delay the case, and escape the news many years later.
To help these people who have assassinated their great icon of great prime ministership of this country, then they deserve this fate.
Subramnian Swamy, is Mr. Jethmalani trying to brush aside a very important argument there of the precedent this sets?
Well, first of all, Jethmalani is probably one of the most eminent trial court lawyers, but we are not here in a trial court. We are here to debate what is essentially a national issue. Now, fact of the matter is that the judgment that he quotes, which is binding on us, actually talks about inordinate delay and taking into the total facts of the situation. Now, when there is a crime of passion and then there is a lot of time passed, the person recants, well, those things can be taken into account. But here are three hard-boiled criminal killers who killed Rajiv Gandhi because they don't like his policy. And that policy was adopted by the Parliament of India.
But he says they were tortured anyway.
Decide India's policy.
He says they were tortured anyway. And the Supreme Court in its January 21st judgment, which he quotes.
What do you mean tortured? 18 people were killed along with Rajiv Gandhi. Were police say what is the torture there? They are hard-boiled characters.
I'm quoting the court judgment.
Torture. They enjoyed 16 years.
I'm quoting the court judgment, Aryama Sundaram. I'm quoting the court judgment, 21st January judgment.
Appeal.
No, they say keeping a convict in suspense of his eventual fate can cause agony and create adverse physical conditions, and therefore the court cannot ignore the delay caused to the convict while keeping in mind the gravity of the sentence. In other words,
these are not ordinary convicts. They are convicts who have committed a crime against the nation. And you say zero tolerance. Where is your zero tolerance?
And in which country would they get away? In which country?
Exactly.
In which country, Aryama Sundaram, would they get away in the way that Rajiv's killers have?
They will get away. Can I answer you, Arnab?
Yes.
If everyone would allow me,
yes.
I can answer you. You're asking me in which country would they get away. I say in every single country where there is no death sentence. And let me tell you, that's the majority of countries today. They would get away in England, they would get away in Germany, they would get away in all these countries.
But we have a death penalty, right? So let's talk in the parameters of what we have.
Look, allow me to complete my sentence, and I will say. So there's no question of which country will let them. Let's forget this hyperbole. It's lovely political talk. It's lovely, great talk from the ramparts. But let's not make the statement, which country will they get away? Oh my God, we'll have terrorism overnight, every day, if we allow them to get away. So of course in England, how much terrorism is there? How much terrorism is there in Germany, in France? But there they don't have a death sentence. So that is not the issue.
This is not a debate on the death sentence.
This is really the issue, that it has been held by the Supreme Court, which is following a precedence of a long line of judgments, which says that after you have been convicted and you have been sentenced to death, if there's a delay in implementation of the death sentence, and a person lives under fear of death every
Why
single
was there a delay?
It is an assault.
Why was there a delay?
It's an assault on his right under Article 21 of the Constitution.
No, it's an assault.
Since there is a delay,
I argue.
Therefore, it is commuted because it cannot be punished four times for the same offense.
No, Aryama Sundaram, what if I argue, I am a citizen of India, my Prime Minister has been assassinated. But the gravest threat to the nation is the assassination of my Prime Minister. Therefore, you have also, by delaying the case, the beneficiaries of the delay is the person who is accused and the convict. And the people who have, the people who are affected by the delay are the 1 billion people of India. 1 billion people of India whose agony over the assassination of their Prime Minister and the absence of justice stays. What about the people of India and their sentiments?
Can I answer you?
Yes.
Can I answer you?
Yes, please.
There are two answers to you. The first answer is that who delayed? It was the government of India which delayed and therefore affronted a person's fundamental
Political parties delayed.
Number one. Wait a moment. Number two, the more important factor is this.
Delayed.
You are talking about the... Allow me to finish, please. Please allow me to finish. The second most important aspect is, you are talking about the Prime Minister died, you are affronted, I am affronted, therefore it should be retribution. Agreed.
Not retribution, justice.
Someone's husband is killed. Wait a moment.
Justice.
Somebody's husband is killed, should be retributed. Somebody else's father is killed, he should be retributed. In other words, why make this rarest of rare case? Let's make every single murder punishable with a death sentence.
So
where are we going? What are we talking about? What is the difference between commuting in the case of Mr. X and Mr. Y?
You tell me. No, Subramnian Swamy says. Subramnian Swamy says.
I can tell.
1 second. 1 minute. Subramnian Swamy says.
I can tell.
Yes, Subramnian Swamy.
Allow the man to make his point, for God's sake.
Subramnian Swamy.
I want to say that these three killers did not know Rajiv Gandhi personally. They killed him not because he did any personal harm to them. He executed a policy which the Parliament of India passed, whether they liked it or not. They have no right to come to our country and then on the election time kill him.
Mr. Swamy, Mr. Jethmalani says don't go into that question.
Policemen also died.
No,
so therefore I am saying this is a crime against the nation. It cannot be compared with any other murder.
Yes, Mr. Jethmalani, I give you the last word. You were telling Mr. Subramnian Swamy not to go into that area. Which area? He's raising a legitimate area. This is a crime against the nation. The nation's politicians let down the people of India by denying justice.
It's not a crime against the nation. It is and listen, the Supreme Court itself has acquitted the accused of an offence under the TADA. They said this is a matter of personal revenge for personal wrong done. Now let me understand, and I want you to understand what has happened in this case, which people ignore. And Mr. Swamy may have a soft corner for Rajiv Gandhi, but please understand this, that Rajiv was the person who invited Prabhakaran to Delhi, treated him as a state guest.
So he had to be assassinated for that?
Gave him money.
He had to be assassinated for that?
Thereafter he
had to be assassinated for that?
To kill them. And and our forces went and killed the few people there.
I can argue that what Rajiv Gandhi did. No, I can argue that what
against Mr. Rajiv Gandhi.
I can argue that what Rajiv Gandhi did was in the national interest at that point of time. That does not justify.
This is what I don't like about you. Please, if you want to hear an answer, then hear it. And don't interrupt it.
Okay, sir, I won't interrupt you, but I was only saying, 1 minute. Okay, let's have a last word from Subramnian Swamy. Yes, Dr. Swamy.
Well,
yes, Dr. Swamy.
I think that this judgment that has been given is a wrong judgment, and it needs to be reviewed. It should be subject to curative petition. We shouldn't let go. And I can say that this judgment remains. Then no Indian politician who has any statesman quality will ever take a policy which will harm somebody or the other. He has to act in a manner in which the country stands by him.
Okay.
Mr. Rajiv Gandhi had committed no offense, and to then forget about his sacrifice and say these people are agonized, they are murderers, hard-boiled criminals. There is no question of agony. They got 16 years free. They should be grateful to the Indian state for that.
Okay, Ram Jethmalani has left the debate. Aryama Sundaram, Subramnian Swamy, thank you for joining me on debate number 1 on the verdict of the Honorable Supreme Court of India in the Rajiv Gandhi killer case. Thank you very much.